Hey YouTube, Steve here from Vegas West Side Shooters, and today I picked up a new pocket carry gun, so I wanted to bring a video on that gun and why I chose it, and then take it out to the range. So I decided to get a new pocket carry gun. I recently sent my Kimber Micro 380 back to the factory. I had some malfunctions and I was not comfortable that it could function when I needed it. And so I called Kimber, and Kimber, I got to say, their customer service was outstanding. I got them right on the phone. They talked to me about the problem. He thought it might be the guide rod and spring, and they immediately mailed me out a new spring and guide rod. I installed them in the firearm, and it didn't really fix. It was better, but it didn't fix the problem entirely. I called Kimber back, and they immediately emailed me a label, and they paid for the shipping, and I shipped it back to Kimber. So kudos to Kimber for their great customer service. But you know, for me to carry a firearm, I just can't have it malfunctioning at all. I can't even risk a single malfunction. My life and my family's life might depend on this firearm. It has to function 100%. So even when I get it back, I'm going to really have to put it through the ringer before I carry it in the future. And so I thought, as long as I'm getting a new carry gun, I decided at this point I really would prefer to have 9mm over 380. I usually carry in my holster, I carry the XDS 9mm, and so I thought, you know, I think there's room in my pocket for a 9mm. So I looked at several different variations. I looked at the Ruger LC9S, I looked at the Glock 43, and I looked at the SIG P938, all of which are very nice firearms. I don't have anything bad to say about any of those, but ultimately I chose to go with the Glock 43, and I chose it for a couple of reasons. I liked the way it felt better than the Ruger. I got more grip on it. I was more comfortable holding it in my hand than the Ruger, so that's why I chose it over the Ruger. The reason I chose it over the SIG was the number one, the SIG was $300 more than the Glock, which was a pretty steep price differential, almost twice. And then the other thing is the Glock is a striker fired, just like the Glock 19 that I'm accustomed to, and the SIG is a single action, like a 1911 single action hammer fired pistol. And the problem is I like to carry around chambered, and with the hammer fired single action pistol, that means that your hammer is cocked, and so you put the safety on, and then you're carrying it in what's called condition 1, or cocked and locked. And I'm just not comfortable with that. I feel like I could accidentally disengage the safety, and it has a very smooth but light single action trigger. And to me, I'd just be more worried about a negligent discharge. I know there's plenty of guys that carry single action guns cocked and locked, and they're comfortable with it, and I think that's fantastic. But you really have to do what you're comfortable with. Because otherwise you're not going to carry, and I like to carry all day, every day. I am very rarely without my firearm, even at home. I generally have it in my pocket or have it in the holster, and so I want to be comfortable because I'm going to continue to carry. So I went with the Glock, and I actually chose the Glock 43 in the flat dark earth, which I picked it for the main reason that I picked it in flat dark earth. Well, I only had three choices at the store. There was a black one, there was one that was just a horrendous turquoise blue that I couldn't even look at, let alone pay money for, and then there was this flat dark earth one. And the reason I picked the flat dark earth one was there's two, when you're carrying every day, you have two things you have to worry about. One is, obviously, if you use your firearm, you may be subjected to prosecution, and you may be subjected to lawsuits, so you have to be obviously very careful about when you use it to make sure that your life is truly threatened and that you're really defending your life. But the other thing is, people can be accused of, falsely accused of brandishing their firearm, pointing it at someone in a threatening manner, and that is also a felony. And so the thing is, if you're not doing it and they're falsely accusing you of it, and they haven't seen your gun, they're going to have a hard time describing your gun if it's not plain old black. I mean, they might just guess and say, oh, it's a black gun. Well, if I'm carrying my XDS 9, you bet it's a black gun, and then it's my word against theirs. But if I'm carrying the Glock and they say, oh, it's a black gun, and I take it out and show it to the police officer and say, hey, this isn't a black gun, it's flat dark earth, then it's not just my word against theirs, they've lost all credibility. So that's why I thought an off-color gun would be kind of interesting to carry. I really don't care that it's, you know, flat dark earth, tactical, desert, blah blah blah. I don't care about that stuff. I just picked one that wasn't black for the reason that it wasn't black, but I couldn't digest the turquoise one, so I went with the FDE. Anyway, I'm excited to take this out. I love Glocks. They're, you know, I've never had any reliability issues with my Glock 19. That was my very first firearm, and I'm not a Glock fanboy, but I do like them. I like the way they shoot. The only thing I don't like about standard Glocks is the sights. So once I take this out to the range and give it a whirl and make sure that it functions and it's reliable, I'm definitely going to order some aftermarket sights for it. But we're going to take it out and give it a go. So I hope you stick with us, and as we head out to the range, we'll see you there. Okay, here's Luke taking the first shots with the new Glock 43. That's going to be my new carry gun. This is just using some Ventura 115 grain new ball ammo. It's not processed, new ammo. Range is hot. All right, classic Glock reliability. Okay, this will be my first time shooting the Glock 43, my new carry gun. Alright, functions like a Glock. Alright, now I'm gonna shoot the Glock 43 with the ammo that I will be likely carrying in it. First I'm gonna have the Israeli Weapon Industries 115 grain die cut hollow points, jacketed hollow points. And then next will be the Fiocchi 124 grain jacketed hollow points. Range is hot. Alright, those flew right through. Let's try the Fiocchi. Alright, last thing I'm going to try is some function one-handed. Alright, I'm going to try some ball ammo one-handed in the event that I have to draw my gun and fire and I don't have the ability to use both hands. I want to make sure it functions with my strong hand and my weak hand. So let's see how it goes. Alright, so I'm back from the range with the Glock 43, which is going to be my new pocket carry gun, and I have to say I'm not disappointed in the least. It was very easy to shoot, ultra reliable, just like every other Glock that I've laid my hands on. It does what you ask it to do. It's not fancy. It doesn't have the best trigger in the universe. But it is what it is, and I'm going to feel very, very confident having this in my pocket. I know when I did my previous video on the Kimber Micro 380 and then I was disappointed in its malfunctioning, I got a couple of comments on that video that it was my technique, that it wasn't the gun, I don't know how to hold a gun, I have a lousy grip, blah blah blah. I recognize I'm not a professional gunfighter. I don't practice every single day. I do go to the range 3 to 4 times per month at least, and I do shoot in IDPA competitions, and I have taken professional instruction at the Front Sight Academy. So I feel pretty confident that I'm probably an average shooter, somewhere in the middle, and that's usually where I score in IDPA anyways, is somewhere in the middle. And I could say this, if I'm ever in a situation where I have to deploy my weapon and fight for my life, I guarantee you the adrenaline's going to be flying. I don't care how well trained you are, your technique is probably going to suffer. And so to me, to carry a gun that requires excellent technique to not malfunction doesn't make a lot of sense. I'm more happy and I feel more comfortable carrying this firearm, and also the Springfield XDS that I carry in the holster. For instance, I don't know if you can see that. There you go. I have it in there now. That's what I carry on the weekends when I can wear a holster. But at work, I can't really manage a holster. I don't have anywhere to conceal that, so I like to carry in my pocket. And right now, I feel much more comfortable with this Glock 43 with 7 rounds of 9mm and another 6-round extra magazine, 13 rounds of hollow points in a gun that I think is very forgiving of my technique and very reliable, is the best solution for me. So I'm super happy with my purchase. I'm going to clean this up. I am going to take it to the range one more time and shoot off at least another 50 to 100 rounds of full metal jacket, and put at least another few magazines through of the ammunition which I'm going to use. I've decided I am going to go with the IMI, which is the 9mm die cut 115 grain hollow points. I like this ammunition. I've used it in my home defense gun for a long time in the Glock 19. I've never had a failure with it, and I don't anticipate having any failures with the Glock 43. So that's going to be my pocket carry of the future, and I'm sure I'll get some comments on my technique and what I'm doing wrong, which is fine. Luke and I are always up for positive, constructive criticism, and we try to take it to heart. And so if you enjoyed this video, thanks very much for watching it, and hopefully we'll see you on the next one. Steve and Luke for Vegas Westside Shooters.